Yo, welcome back to Baseline to Goal Line. I am Alan Cole Beasy Colburn, and you know what we do around here? It's not just a regular sports show. This is a vibe. So, what I want you to do is raise your glasses. Let me know what it is that you're sipping on. If you don't have something, pause the video, go grab you something and come on back.
Subscribe.
Then comment down below and let me know what it is that you're sipping on. I got some tequila right here. And you know what we always do for the toast? It's always to life, health, wealth, last but not least, sports. And Happy New Year. Salute. Now we can get the show popping. If you saw the title of the show, or the video, I'm sorry, we're going to discuss the Antonio Brown situation from yesterday. So if you haven't seen it, or if you don't know what's going on, Antonio Brown yesterday in the third quarter of the Bucks game, Tampa Bay Buccaneers game, storms off of the field. It was stated that Bruce Arians asked him to go back into the game a couple of times, and he stated no. So what I want to do is I want to get to that video really quick just to show you what he did in this moment.
Situation. Antonio Brown boiled over, very upset on the sideline, took off his shoulder pads. Mike Evans, O.J. Howard trying to convince him to keep them on. Obviously, they were unable to do so. He tossed his shoulder pads, stripped off his shirt and glove, threw those into the crowd, then ran across the field while the teams were still on the field, giving the crowd a peace out sign. I'll let you know when we hear something official on his status.
Thank you.
Now what I want to do is go back again, but I'm a silence the audio because I want you guys to pay attention to something.
Mike Evans, O.J. Howard
Sorry
trying
about that. I want you to pay attention to something. Pay attention to Antonio Brown looking back as he's doing this, as to make sure that certain people are looking at him like attention seeking. Check this out. So as he's taking off his shirt right here, before he throws it, watch his head. He's gonna look back right there. And then he's gonna do it again with his gloves. He's looking back right there. Now he's gonna look back again just to make sure. It seems as if he wants to make sure that people are looking at him in this situation. Let me get my full screen back really quick because I want to just discuss this, right? Number one, in this particular situation, Antonio Brown quit on Tampa Bay Buccaneers organization, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans, but the most important person is Tom Brady. Tom Brady thought that he was Antonio Brown's friend, right? Number one, that's first and foremost. He even went as far as having Antonio Brown living in his house during this whole situation that was going on with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What I mean by situation is the signing. During the signing of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year, Antonio Brown was living in Tom Brady's house, staying with the man. Now, it was stated that, once again, Bruce Arians asked him to go back into the game. He refused to go back into the game. And I was hearing certain things stating that he felt that he was getting isolated and iced out of the game and not being targeted, right? And there was going to be some incentive that he would have been able to get had he made certain milestones that were listed in this contract. I want to go over that really quick with you too, right? So if you read this here, it states that Antonio Brown needed 8 more catches to unlock a bonus of $333,000. He needed 55 receiving yards to unlock another $333,000. He also only needed 1 touchdown to unlock another $333,000. This was a costly outburst. This is from Sports Track. And my response to that is, no shit, it was costly. Now, this just goes to show, it's a couple things, right? Let's just peel back the onion real quick. There's layers to this. And the reason why I say that is because I think two things could be mutually exclusive. I think a person can need mental health help. And I say that because I don't think that we should diminish that portion of things, especially that's going on with everything that's going on in the world and how prevalent or how mental health is such a big deal, we should not just throw that to the wayside. And I think, me personally, I do think he needs some type of mental health help. However, I also think that you can be an asshole as well. And I don't think two things are mutually. I think two things can be mutually exclusive. You can need and have to seek some type of mental health to work on a certain aspect of your being, but you can also just be an asshole. And I think both of these things are true. He just comes off as very selfish. He comes off as a very egotistical and self-centered person. I want to just go over the timeline of Antonio Brown's history when it comes to certain things, right? Because this is going to just put things into perspective, right? So I want to share this with you really quick. And I'm sharing this because this is not just an isolated situation. These things have happened with Antonio Brown on a consistent basis, right? So in 2019, the Steelers agreed to trade Antonio Brown. And I don't know if you guys remember, but the Facebook Live or the Instagram Live post that he made while Mike Tomlin, who is the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, was giving a speech. He was giving a speech about the victory and also about their next upcoming opponent, which was the New England Patriots. He was doing an Instagram Live post capturing everything, which is supposed to stay in-house. So his erratic behavior started way back then. So back in 2019, the Steelers agreed to trade Antonio Brown. The Raiders acquired him on March of 2019, right? And it was a sign and trade. So they traded him for a 5th round pick, but then he said Brown almost immediately became the NFL highest paid player when the Raiders signed him to a 3-year deal for $50 million with $30 million guaranteed, right? So before his first game and while he was in training camp and during this particular time frame, the NFL had did their hard knocks with the Oakland Raiders at this point in time. I don't know if you guys know what Hard Knocks is, but it's a mini series on a specific team on a consistent basis yearly that the NFL does, and they follow the team around with HBO. It's called Hard Knocks. So they were there in Oakland, and it stated that on August 3rd of 2019, Brown entered a cryotherapy chamber without proper footwear. Brown posted a picture of his mangled feet on August 3rd on Hard Knocks. He was shown saying, "I got circumstances on my feet," arriving to his first Raiders camp with foot issues. So Brown couldn't even help the team on August 3rd when he first reported to training camp. Then on August 9th, helmet issues. The NFL updated his helmet and safety standards, prevented Brown from wearing the same helmet that he worn his whole career. It took about a whole month for him to resolve these issues. Some of the drama included reports that Brown threatened to retire, grievances being filed, Brown spray painting his old helmet. Brown chose a new helmet by early September, saying that it made him feel agile and comfortable. Then on September 5th, he skipping work and fighting with the GM. Brown was fined nearly $54,000 for missing the team workout. He posted a letter with his displeasure on Instagram. When your own team wants to hate, but there's no stopping me, the devil is a lie. Everyone's got to pay this year, so we clear. So on September 7th, which was just 2 days later, the Raiders released Antonio Brown. And hours later, he was signed by the New England Patriots. Then comes September 10th. Now keep in mind, this is all in order. September 10th, 2019, Brown was sued for sexual assault. Brown's former trainer, Brittany Taylor, accused him of raping her in a lawsuit filed on this date in federal court. The lawsuit alleged that Brown sexually assaulted Taylor on 3 different occasions in 2017 and 2018. The NFL launched an investigation into the matter, and as of November 2020, the lawsuit has never been resolved, right? So September 15th of 2019, Antonio Brown played for the Patriots. Brown played one game, keep in mind, one game for the Patriots he caught a pass for 56 yards and a touchdown, right? September 20 of 2019, the Patriots released him. A few days after the Patriots' debut, he was accused of sexual misconduct by a second woman. Brown reportedly responded by sending threatening text messages to that woman. Brown was released by the Patriots on the 20th, and the NFL investigated multiple allegations against him. Then, coming from this, on July 30th of 2020, Antonio Brown was suspended by 8 games. Brown received an 8-game suspension from the NFL, not due to the sexual assault allegations, but to a separate incident in 2020. He was in violations of the NFL's personal conduct policy. The suspension stemmed from a January arrest connected to the attack of a driver of a moving company. The initial Brown charge was a felony and battery charge, and it was a misdemeanor criminal mischief, right? So he was suspended for 8 games. October 23rd of 2020, the Buccaneers signed Antonio Brown. The Buccaneers signed Antonio Brown to a deal for the remainder of the season. Per reports, Brown will be paid a maximum of $2.5 million, with the most of the coming through incentives. His prorated base of salary would be $750,000. So November 8th of 2020, so this is last year, Brown debuted with the Buccaneers. Now, this was the point in time where he moved in with Tom Brady, and Tom Brady was helping him get through his issues, right? So Brown returned to practice in Week 9 ahead of the Tampa Bay Sunday night game, and he played against the Saints. So this is when he debuted. Brown's coach, Bruce Arians, said that he could see 10 plays or he could see 35 plays, depending on the condition that the NFL or that Antonio Brown was in at this point in time. Let me stop sharing this because what I want to tell you really quick is that all the reports around the NFL is that Antonio Brown is a very hard worker and probably one of the hardest working players in the NFL. And it goes to just show you, and I'm going to get back to the report here in a second because there's more for sure, but it just goes to show you that if you have the talent to produce on a consistent basis, that's going to 9 times out of 10 outweigh the bullshit that somebody has to put up with, because your talent on the field is what's putting asses in the seats and is selling tickets and is giving these organizations a chance to win, right? So let's get back to the report. It states here that, so let me just go back and say this. He went through the rest of the 2020 season without any more hiccups. On December 20th of 2021, Antonio Brown was suspended for the NFL for supplying a fake vaccination card. So this was just last month, right? And I want to get to another thing when it comes to what Bruce Arians had to say in reference to this. This is Bruce Arians on the Dan Patrick Show.
On Antonio Brown.
Probably later in this week.
And what are you leaning towards?
It could go either way right now. Really could.
What's it based on?
Just continuing where those two guys are at, and where the team is at.
Really quick. Basically, Tom Brady made the decision not to get rid of Antonio Brown by supplying a fake vaccination card. And for all y'all out there, I just want y'all to keep in mind, and you can do your Googles and shit on your own, by providing a fake government documentation is a felony. It is a felony. And he provided the Buccaneers organization with a fake vaccination card. It even went on to the point where Bruce Arians was stating that everybody on the team was vaccinated. Everybody on the team was vaccinated because Antonio Brown issued them a card. Now, he later did go on to get vaccinated. So I'm just going to put that out there for full disclosure. He later did go on there to get vaccinated. But it wasn't up until someone reported that, this can come back to haunt you. And when he found that out, he just stated, okay, I'm going to go ahead and get vaccinated. But with Bruce Arians not making a decision, it was just meaning that Tom Brady had the final say-so over what was going on. Which goes back to my point originally that by him leaving the field and walking off like that, he's putting Tom Brady in a bad spot, and he's also ruining his friendship with Tom Brady, right? Tom Brady also went on to do this. Even after this whole thing that was going on with him, Tom Brady still went on to have this to say about Antonio Brown. Let me get to my tweet that I found out about Tom Brady, or that I had about Tom Brady with Antonio Brown. He still went on to be this, to say this about Antonio Brown. I think everybody should do what they need to do to help him in ways that he really needs help. We all love him. We care about him deeply. So this still shows that Tom Brady has a sense of respect and a sense of not remorse, because that's the wrong word, but a sense of he wants to help this dude. Let's just put it that, let's just point blank period. He really wants to help this dude. But does Antonio Brown want to help himself? And I wonder how many people he has in his corner that are more yes men than people who are willing to help him. Because I just showed you the timeline. The last thing on that timeline of his track record was just stating the incident that happened yesterday, stating that he was no longer going to be a Buccaneer and that he walked off the field. Oh, and from the fake vaccination card, he received a 3-game suspension during that. When you saw Bruce Arians on the Dan Patrick Show, at that time frame, he was receiving a 3-game suspension. But for him to act like this, the way that he acted, because he felt that he was not going to be able to get his incentives. And keep in mind, there was an extra game. He had a game next week that he could have received those incentives. And don't quote me on this, but I'm not sure if the playoffs were going to be able to be added for those incentives. But for him to act like this is assholish behavior. And once again, two things could be mutually exclusive. He can need help, and I believe he does. And I hope he gets the help that he needs. But you can also be an asshole. And that's exactly what Antonio Brown is. Because he's gotten chance after chance after chance after chance, and he's been doing ignorant ass shit like this. So please down below, let me know, comment down below, let me know what you think about the situation. Do you think Antonio Brown is going to be coming back to the NFL? Here's my thoughts. At first, I initially thought yes. But because he's 34 years old, he's not 24, he's 34. And he's still talented, a very talented player. The only way I can see Antonio Brown coming back is with these COVID cases the way we have them right now, and these teams that are in playoff contention needing him to come in and fill in because you have all of these players that are out. But I believe if he does come back, the GMs are going to bring him back on a game-to-game basis or a day-to-day basis, meaning that, okay, you come in today. If today goes well, we'll bring you back tomorrow. If tomorrow comes back well, we'll bring you back the next day, so on and so forth. That's the only way I can see him coming back, because the talent is still there, and you'll have GMs that are probably at the tail end of their career trying to save their asses and save their jobs. So this year, let me just say it, this year, I think if he does come back in the playoffs, it will be on a game-by-game basis or a day-by-day basis. But if he doesn't come back this year, I don't think he will be back at the beginning of next year. I think it would take some type of injuries that happen in the NFL for him to be on a team roster come like mid-week or mid-season next year. By week 6, 7, or 8, he may be back on the NFL team, because once again, the end result of him, the reward, in some situations like this, it may outweigh the risk, because his talent and what it can lead to for a franchise is probably going to outweigh some of the bull stuff or bullshit, I'm going to just say it, that you may have to put up with him for certain people. For me, I couldn't do it. I cannot do it. But for certain people, they'll put up with the bullshit because it may lead to them prolonging their coaching career and possibly leading to a championship, right? But comment down below. Let me know what you think about the situation. I really hope that he does get help, because I do think it's something else that's up with his mental. All right. If you want to see more content, subscribe to the show. Hit that notification bell. I will be posting more often. The show is coming back this month. I got to get with Mark just to square down a date, but the show is going to be coming back this month. Go ahead and salute again to life, health, wealth. Last but not least, sports talk. I am Alan Cole Beasley Colburn. You've been watching Baseline to Goal Line. Peace and love.